Hello, everybody. This is Question Mark here on July 11th, a Monday, with a collector's booster box. I think they're calling them displays, technically, instead of boxes, but of Double Masters 2022. I've heard that they're calling them displays because these boxes contain an entire four packs of cards. You may have heard me in a recent video say that, money was a little tight lately. I wasn't sure how many of these videos I was going to be making in the near future. I want to keep going, but, money's tight. Well, came into a little bit of a windfall, and this is what I chose to do with it. Get two Double Masters 2022 collector booster boxes that I can open on camera for you. So that's what we're going to start doing. So we have a special deal that I'm doing with my roommate here and with a friend of mine, where what we're going to be doing is taking all the individual packs from these boxes. We're going to shuffle them together so that, there's no knowing whose was whose. We're going to try and make this as fair as possible here. So we're going to be giving one of these packs to a gift, as a gift to a friend of ours. And the other, another one, we're going to be setting aside as a kind of prize. And then we're going to each have 3 packs that we will open for ourselves, and we keep whatever's inside. But we're going to be looking up the prices of the rares and mythics in these packs, and then whoever has the lowest value will get the 7th pack. So we're going to shuffle them up a little bit here so that there's total randomness. I know there's some people who have superstitions about the top pack and the bottom one, or you gotta look at the number or the barcode or some. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that there are some patterns that people may be able to figure out with some complex algorithm or something. It's been possible in the past for people to kind of map out a whole box with enough information, but there's not a lot of information here anyway, so who cares? So anyway, 1 pack set aside for our friend, 1 pack set aside as a prize, and then 3 packs for each of us, 3 packs for my roommate, and 3 packs for me. So I will open my 3 first, and she'll be looking up the prices of the rares and mythics as we go, and providing us with a kind of running total here, hopefully. And I'm going to just try to open these packs pretty carefully. So we've been watching a lot of videos about Double Masters 2022 and the value in it. And before we see what special cards are in here, there are basically 6 sick pulls. The 6 sick pulls are the 5 mythic rares that can come in textured foil and Imperial Seal. If we get a fancy pants version of one of those, they're worth hundreds of dollars. We paid $273 for each of these boxes, so it's $550 for the 2 boxes put together. If we open one of those 6 cards, we have paid for all of it. So, first off, we got some commons here, and we're going to not worry too much about them. These are some nice cards. They see some play sometimes, and some uncommons. I'm going to set them together, but Eternal Witness is nice. That'll definitely go into some of these decks, but we're not going to worry about those for the price just yet. Spell Pierce Borderless is somewhat valuable, but I'm not necessarily including the commons or uncommons in the price for now, because it's just too many things to look up, I think. So, Inquisition of Kozilek, also worth a couple dollars, I think. Burning Tree Emissary. Love this card. I'd be happy to play it. Getting it in foil, that's really cool. Once again, these first 3 packs are for me. Dimir Aqueduct. That's nice. I'd love to get more of these foil, borderless bounce lands. I'm particularly looking for the Orzhov one, because I have an Orzhov deck that wants to be as fancy as possible. So now we start to get into the valuable stuff, I think. So the first rare is Greater Gargadon, which is one of the least expensive rares in the set. So we've got a foil Greater Gargadon, worth very little. Then we have a borderless Force of Negation. Force of Negation is one of the more valuable rares in this set. I think like the third most valuable rare. And to get it in borderless is excellent. Force of Negation sees a lot of play in, I believe, Modern, I think also Legacy, and in like CEDH, things like that. I don't personally play it in any Commander decks right now because I'm a Commander player. But Force of Negation, really good pull, very valuable card. Okay. Gargadon is next to nothing. Okay, so foil Gargadon is practically zero. Maybe we should count it as a quarter. Borderless Force of Negation will be interesting, and I hope that you can note it down somewhere. Make a little note. Okay, thank you. And then we'll tally it up at the end together. Okay, Guided Passage, also one of the least valuable cards in the set to get in rare. It's probably $1, maybe less. Etched Foil, I don't think saves it very much. So, last card in the pack is a borderless foil Bloom Tender, and that's a pretty good hit. So it is one of the more valuable rares, I believe, and to get a borderless one, hell, I love the art from Scott M. Fisher. So this is great. So each of these packs can be bought individually from many stores for about $75. So the question is, like, if we look at, like these 4 cards, did I make $75? I'm not sure. Force of Negation is a pretty penny. Bloom Tender, even borderless foil, I think is going to be less than the borderless Force of Negation. Off the top of my head, I would guess Force is like 40 and Bloom Tender is like 30, but that's just kind of a wild guess. We'll get the actual numbers in a little bit here. So I'm going to keep those up here off camera for the first pack. Also, the Bloom Tender came out of the box, pretty curled in this direction, like not flat, noticeably not flat. So it's a little hard to get on camera, but yeah, it's noticeably not flat for the last one there. Actually, the last 2, the Etched Foil Guided Passage is not very flat either. But I'd say it's close enough. I've definitely seen a lot worse. I will put that in a sleeve, I will put it in a deck, and it'll be fine. Okay. So, on to pack 2. Capture Sphere is, a common. We're going to just roll through these commons. Sensor Splicer.
I'm look up every single one of these rares, because some of them are bullshit, I know it. So I'm going to look up, like, the good ones.
Okay.
Because you're moving way too fast for me to be able to log all of them.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, we are going a little fast to try to actually look up every rare, because it takes a little while. Okay, so yeah, Greater Gargadon we know is next to nothing. Guided Passage we know is next to nothing. So we're going to look up the Force and the Bloom Tender, and those will be the first pack, basically. So we got a Muldrifter, and that's nice. We got a foil Cold Steel Heart. I'm really happy to get that. That does get played in some decks in Commander and stuff, and I love the new snow template that they're using on this, like they did in Kaldheim. They did not have it back in Cold Snap when this card was originally printed. And I love to see it in foil, so it's very pretty. Oh, and we got a Flicker Wisp, which I think is scary and kind of ugly, and I don't like it. Is it Boilerworks is fine. Foil Thought Scour is nice. It'll see some play. Golgari Rot Farm is very cool. In fact, I was wondering, okay, can we see it here? Okay, I heard that hidden in this art are 2 things that you can probably not see even zoomed in this close. This actually might have been a trick. Someone might have goofed me on this one, but someone told me that Waldo was in this art, and they pointed to like right there in the center. But I think they were goofing me. However, in the background down here, apparently, is Alice in Wonderland. But you can't see it through the text. It's not transparent enough. So, okay. She's in the art, though. Then we go on to the rares and mythics. And my first one is Dragonlord Dramoka, which I'm very happy about. It's a very cool card, especially to get in foil. I really want the Borderless one, though, illustrated by Richard Kane Ferguson. That's what I'm hoping to get with packs like this. So I think it is still worth something. So we will set that aside. Next, we've got a Borderless Hardened Scales. And I said to my friend here that if I opened a Borderless Hardened Scales with the dinosaur on it, then I would have to put it in a deck. I don't have a deck with Hardened Scales in it right now, but now I have to make one because I'm such a dinosaur guy. Hardened Scales, I think, is also worth a little something. A few dollars, probably. Glimpse the Unthinkable in etched foil. That's cool. Okay, it looks pretty nice. And I think it is also worth something. So Glimpse the Unthinkable is cool. And my big hit is Muldrotha, the Gravetide, which is a pretty good pull. This is one of the top 10 most popular commanders. At one point, it was the most popular commander. So nice to get it. And, I'm thinking at this point, maybe what we'll do is once I'm finished opening these 3 packs, maybe we'll do a brief intermission. And we'll look up the cards. And then I'll come back, say what the values are. And then we'll go on to the next 3 packs. We'll look up the values on those, have another brief intermission, come back with the totals, and we'll open the last pack. How about that? That way we've got enough time to look these things up. I don't have to stall. We don't have to rush.
Well, honestly, I'm not trying to look up every single one, because I know which ones are worth money and which ones aren't.
Okay. So, next we've got some commons again. Elvish Rejuvenator's good. Let's see. Winged Coatl's good. That's cool. Surreal Memoir. Mentor of the Meek used to be a rare. Glad to see it here as an uncommon, honestly. It's gotten a little outclassed with Welcoming Vampire and other stuff like that. Unearth and Borderless. Nice to see. Very cool card. Selesnya Sanctuary Borderless. Very pretty. Oh, okay. I'm really happy to see Rampant Growth here, too. Rampant Growth obviously sees a lot of play in Commander. Oddly, Rampant Growth is the 3rd or 4th best Rampant Growth. Usually, what do you call it? 3 Visits or Nature's Lore is arguably the best, followed by perhaps Farseek and Into the North.
Very expensive.
Yeah. Rampant Growth isn't particularly expensive, but if you look right there, that's Lord Windgrace. That's Catman. And I love having it in Borderless foil, so I'm going to find a deck for this. Maybe it'll be the same deck as the Hardened Scales. I have an idea. Bloodbraid Elf. I pulled 2 of them in the draft I played on Saturday, and I won first place at that draft. Actually won first place at 2 different Double Masters 2022 drafts in the last week or so. Pretty proud of that, so I'm telling you. Yeah, red-black the first time and red-green the second time. Mindrack Liege is not valuable at all, and I'm just going to move on. Consecrated Sphinx in Borderless. Okay, very happy to see that. I do have a couple of Consecrated Sphinxes, but of course this is new art for the Borderless version. And funny story, Consecrated Sphinx was originally printed in Mirrodin Besieged, where it was definitely the chase card and was one of the top blue cards in Commander for years. It's fallen off a bit recently because it does cost 6 and it's absolutely a kill on sight. So sometimes people just don't even get to draw any cards with it. But it's still very good. But for a hot minute there, after Kaldheim came out, they introduced Phyrexian as a creature type. And they errated a lot of old cards to be Phyrexians, including Consecrated Sphinx. And out of the 100 and something cards that got errated to be Phyrexian, this is the one that they rolled back to not be Phyrexian again. Because they remembered that in a secret lair, they printed a version of Consecrated Sphinx, where it's a very nice looking Sphinx. It's hanging out with a bunch of children and playing nice. And so, well, that Sphinx isn't Phyrexian. So they decided that Consecrated Sphinx can be from a number of different places. It's not necessarily Phyrexian. They took the creature type away. So, that said, we go on to Grim Flayer, which is one of my least favorite rares in this set, and not even with the Richard Kane Ferguson art. So, not super thrilled by that one, but we're coming up to the last card. This is kind of make or break for me here. Come on, something really good. One of the big hits. Aha! Okay, it is a foil borderless Vidalcan Orrery, which is not one of the six sick pulls, but it is really good. It is quite valuable, and I play it in decks. I'll be able to put this in a deck pretty much immediately. So that's very cool to have gotten. And then, of course, there's foil double-sided tokens as well. But all right. Well, we will, I think, look up the prices of some of the more valuable cards in this list here, total it up. We'll take a brief intermission while we do that, and, well, to you, we'll be right back after an edit. All right, I am back from my brief intermission. We have looked up prices on my pack on the rares and mythics, at least of the ones that are worth anything. These ones are all worth less than $5, actually mostly less than $2. So we didn't bother with those, really. So including the total is Grim Flayer, which is at the minimum of $5. Hardened Scales, which was $6 for a borderless non-foil. Dragonlord Dramoka was $14 for the foil. Glimpse the Unthinkable in etched foil is $15, which is way more than the non-etched versions. Other versions of this card are about $2, but the etched one's $15. Vidalcan Orrery was $19.50 in the borderless foil. Bloom Tender in the borderless foil was $20. So we're going up, by the way. I was doing them from lowest to highest. Muldrotha is $30. Consecrated Sphinx is $31. And Force of Negation was actually the biggest hit at $58. So, for my packs, the grand total is $198, which, if you were paying attention earlier, I paid $273 for the box, so has not made its money back yet. But keep in mind, this is 3 packs. We paid for 4 packs each. So, if you do another little bit of math here, we had basically $200 come out of 3 packs. So each of them is about a third. So each of them is worth about $66 from what we opened. Add another $66, and we're looking at about $266 worth of value, and that would be basically what we paid. So the 4th pack, on average, from what we've opened so far, would be breaking even roughly. So that's not bad. And this is probably below average, though. And some of the prices we were looking at there were clearly like TCG low. So some of them are going to be higher than that. Also, this is a few days after release, which is near the lowest prices that any of the cards in here are going to be. If you want to buy singles from this set, as the professor always tells you to do, this week is probably the week to do it. Buy singles this week, because in a couple of weeks, the prices are going to start coming up. The mythics that see play will probably come up first, and then eventually everything will, probably after Christmas. So, once again, we're going to be opening 3 packs. These are going to be for my roommate, and then when we're done, we'll take one more brief intermission as we add up all the rares and mythics that are worth looking up. And then whoever has the least will get the final pack as a bonus to balance things out, because we could, of course, open a single card worth $100, $200, $500, and we wanted to be fair because we're good friends. So, starting here, we've got Elvish Rejuvenator, cool card, Glowspore Shaman, Winged Coatl, I've done good things with, Doom Traveler, Riftbolt, all solid, decent like draft cards and everything. Surreal Memoir is okay. Spider Spawning has its fans. Unearth. Unearth is a great borderless common. Sees a lot of play in a lot of formats. Golgari Rot Farm. That is cool to get borderless as well. But the first really cool hit here, I'd say, is Terminate, the borderless foil. I love that it's like a laser beam killing this pterodactyl kind of thing. If I remember right, the original art for Terminate had a dragon being hit by like a lava blast. So this is kind of like a play on that. And I love it. And obviously Terminate's an amazing card. One of the best removal spells ever. Played in lots of commander decks and everything. Then we've got a beautiful Simic Growth Chamber. I believe this is one that she was wanting because of the art, if nothing else. I love the kind of teal and orange going on here, the glowingness and everything, so that's great. And then her first rare is one that I am going to want to trade for. Rafika the Many is a commander that I've been wanting to build ever since the beginning of Commander, basically. And I think he was one of the juggernauts when Commander first started. People were very afraid of him. He was played a lot, and so I didn't want to build him back then because lots of people were. Nowadays, you can't hardly find a Rafika the Many deck out there, but I think he's only gotten better. Equipments and auras have only gotten better. Mana fixing has gotten better. Ramp has gotten better. Everything's gotten better. I think Rafika is poised to come out as one of the best Voltron commanders out there, and I'll show you. So I'll trade for this, I think. But then we've got Bloom Tender, borderless non-foil, which is once again beautiful Scott M. Fisher art, and definitely worth something. Then we've got an etched foil Talrand, which I believe is the most commonly reprinted legendary creature of all time. Been in multiple commander decks, multiple core sets, that kind of thing. It's actually a really good card despite that, but normally it's worth only like $1 or $2. However, just like with Glimpse the Unthinkable, I wouldn't be surprised if the etched foil here has a uniquely high price. Could be up like 15 like that other card was. So we'll see. Oh, and she wants it, of course. Blue Spellslingers, it's really good in that. And then the big hit, Gifts Ungiven. Okay, borderless foil. So, this isn't the big hit that it used to be years ago, unfortunately. It's been banned in multiple formats, including Commander, the only format that we play. But the borderless foil version of it is very pretty. And I love the kind of like Japanese style going on here with the presents and the kind of like cups and the candies and everything. It's beautiful. And yeah, she may just keep it for her collection, I imagine. I don't know how particularly viable that one is. I would say maybe kind of a medium hit. But no worries. So that is our start. So second pack though, I'm still hoping we might get like a textured mythic. Yeah, I'm still hoping for a textured mythic or for an Imperial Seal. That would be amazing. But I'll start with Martial Glory, which is not that good. Well, it's kind of good actually. Stormfleet Pyromancer, Fireblade Artist, Lava Coil. I played that to good effect in the drafts. Pirate's Pillage, same there. Go for the Throat, excellent removal spell. Jeskai Charm, solid. Ooh, love this. Borderless Monastery Swiftspear. This card is apparently tearing up Pauper now that it's been downshifted from uncommon to common. Also, I had 2 of them in each of my drafts over the last week, and I won both of those drafts. So, and she didn't have any up until now. So Monastery Swiftspear, excellent pull. For a common anyway, it's like the most valuable common, I think. Oh, weird. There's a little bit of like grit on the back of the card here. You see those little things? I swear, that was just in between the 2 cards as it came in the pack. A little bit of like maybe wood pulp kind of fiber. Yeah. From like maybe when they cut the cards, a few like wood crumbs. But Gruul Turf, you see, if you look closely at this art, you will notice that there are no turfs on Gruul Turf. So that's important. There is cool art though by Ron Spencer, very fun. Then we've got, okay, all right, well, a borderless foil Monastery Swiftspear, which once again is the most valuable common in the set. I still think based on the rules we said before, we're not going to include it in our count at the end, but it would be more than $5, I believe. So now we go on to, oh, right, there's another borderless foil common or uncommon, and it's Muldrifter, and it's beautiful. And absolutely sees play in Commander, very popular card, lots of fans. Will probably go in a blue deck of hers. So now we get into the valuable stuff, though. And it's Talrand. Okay, so this Talrand, however, probably not particularly valuable. I would guess like $2. So that's a bummer. So we go into the next card, though. Ooh, okay, we've got a borderless non-foil Damnation, which I believe she didn't have any Damnations before the set came out, but now she has like 2, if you include this one. And the borderless treatment by Ian Miller here is incredible. Such unique art style, such intimidating glowing red eyes, and the like inky spirits at the bottom. Yeah, just absolutely unique art style there from Ian Miller, very spooky. Apparently, he did a bunch of illustrations for Magic way back in the day, stopped illustrating for Magic for over a decade, maybe even 2 decades, and now has come back to illustrate like 3 cards in this set, and glad to have him back. They chose excellent cards for him to do. So, next big hit. Oh, Conqueror's Flail. That's cool. Okay, so etched foil Conqueror's Flail. Last time I checked, this was like $15+, something like that. So that's a pretty good hit and might see play in some decks. I think it's best in like a multicolor Voltron kind of deck, because you want to have at least like 2 or 3 colors among permanents you control. But then your opponent's not being able to cast spells during your turn is pretty good, especially to cast for 2 and equip for 2. That's not bad. All right, now this could be the big hit. It is. Wow. Okay. So we've got a borderless foil Mana Drain, and that is a huge hit. I don't know exactly where it's at right now, but I believe it's over 100. I believe it's over 100, like 110, something like that. We will be, of course, looking it up and checking back in with you after the second and final intermission. Wow, that's incredible. Of course, I don't really play Counterspell in Commander, even though Counterspell is, I think, the most popular blue card in Commander. Granted, I don't play a lot of blue, period, but it's in part because Mana Drain is strictly better and legal. If you own a copy of Mana Drain, always play Mana Drain over Counterspell. If you don't own a copy of it, print one, proxy one, write Mana Drain on a piece of paper. I don't care. It's legal in the format. No one should be prevented from playing Magic the way they want to play casually in Kitchen Table Commander or, whatever free play at your local game store. No one should be restricted by their finances in being able to play the kind of Magic they want to play in a casual setting. Looks like the TCG player low for Mana Drain Borderless Foil right now is $95. So that is great. Yep. Yeah, you can find it a lot of places for about $95. Okay, going on to the third pack of hers, and I gotta say, this one's like curved a bit. Noticeably, like the whole pack is curved a bit. Okay, well, it's not too much though. Certainly it can come out in a sleeve, that kind of thing. But we start with Deranged Assistant, Supernatural Stamina is a pretty good card, Dweller Oracle, downshifted from rare all the way to common, and I think it was a good decision. I played it in the draft, it felt like a common, like a good common. Bloodfield Connoisseur, Liliana's Elite. Oh, Sprouting Thrynax. I used to play that in Classic Jund, in Standard and stuff. River, I'm never sure how to pronounce that. If it's Hoopo, Hoopy? I've heard Hoopy before. So I don't know which way. There's an actual kind of bird with that name. So I could look it up sometime. But yeah, it is very pretty, especially the shiny version here we have. Next, we've got a Borderless Thought Scour, which is nice. Played in lots of mill decks and self-mill decks. Azorius Chancery is pretty. Played in, white-blue decks in Commander, of course. We go on to, nice, a Borderless Foil Lightning Bolt. That is a sick staple of a lot of formats. Probably quite valuable. 30?
I think it's like 30.
Whoa. Okay, it could be $30. We technically won't be included in the price in the end here, but it's one of the most valuable versions of Lightning Bolt.
I could be wrong.
Okay. Then we go on to Unearth, which is very good, of course. It's very cool. The art here, yeah, get that lightning.
No, I'm way wrong. It's only 7.
Okay.
I was way wrong.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right.
Yeah,
so Lightning Bolt is actually about 7, it looks like, in the Borderless Foil.
But still,
it's still really good.
Still really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we go on to the rares, and we start with Intet the Dreamer, which is not a particularly valuable rare. It's a pretty good card for Commander and stuff like that. It's pretty popular. It used to be more so than it is, but I think it's only $1 or $2. So we'll move on. Next, we've got a Borderless Chaos Warp, and I love this card. It's illustrated by Phil Foglio. I'm not sure if you're supposed to pronounce the G. I've been going with Foglio, pronouncing the G. Phil and his wife Kaya used to illustrate cards way back in the first few years of Magic, but they stopped sometime around, I want to say, like 2000. Looks like Chaos Warp is about $10 right now, TCG low, for this version, which is interesting because all normal art versions of Chaos Warp, foil or anything, are worth like $1 or $2, because it's been printed enough that even though it's an absolute staple in Red decks and Commander, it's not expensive at all. Honestly, praise to Wizard of the Coast on that one. But then they make this version with really cool, unique art. It's not necessarily going to appeal to everybody. I definitely know some people who are like, ew, it's so cartoony and silly, and I don't like it. But a lot of people love it, myself included. And so the Phil Foglio version is worth significantly more than the normal Chaos Warp. And the foil of this, last time I checked, was like 18. So that's a cool hit. We go on to the next to last card, which is Rune of the Hidden Realm. Etched foil here. Now, this, I believe, was one of the second set of Commanders. Yeah, the Commander 2013, I want to say. Commander 2013, this was not the headliner Commander, Derevi was, but this was in that deck. And it's still a somewhat popular Commander. I've seen it played on game nights and I think extra turns. Josh Lee Kwai has a deck with this that he really likes. 5 mana, and actually it's not exactly fair, if you ask me, that you can exile any creature, even ones that you don't control, because you can get rid of tokens, you can like double up drawbacks, you can get rid of blockers or attackers mid-combat. This thing is just incredibly versatile, if a little slow. That said, enough stalling. We go on to the last card from from this second set of packs, which could be huge, and it is huge. Phyrexian Altar Borderless Foil. Phyrexian Altar is literally the most valuable rare in this set. Now, not the most valuable mythic rare, but it is the most valuable rare. And to get a borderless version of it is incredible. So, I would say that between the Phyrexian Altar and the Mana Drain, those two cards are worth as much as all of mine put together, probably. So we're going to do the math, though. We're going to figure it out, and I think that the second pile was bigger, which would mean that I would get the final pack that we're going to open here. But we're going to do the math, and we're going to find out. So I'll take a brief intermission. We'll be right back. Okay, we are back, and we have looked up the prices of all of the rares and mythic rares that were in those packs, and we found that Rune of the Hidden Realm was the least valuable at about $5, followed by Chaos Warp at about $9, Conqueror's Flail at $10, the Damnation is $23.50, the Bloom Tender is $17, so I guess if I was doing them in order, it should have been that one first. The Phyrexian Altar is $55, and the Mana Drain is a whopping $95 right now. So that is for a grand total of $214.50, which means that the second set of packs was worth more by about $16.50. So that means that I will be opening the final booster pack myself and adding it to my collection. Also, the Rafika the Many, I think we're going to just do a trade after this for something. I'm sure that I opened some things that she wants, something like that. Also, you may look and go like, hey, wait, neither of these collector booster boxes was worth the $270 something that we paid for it. That's true, but once again, we're only looking at 3 out of the 4 packs. We're looking at kind of TCG low. We were looking at the lowest price that you could buy one of those cards from TCG Player right now, which is the lowest prices on the internet usually. TCG Player often is the lowest price for any single you can buy anywhere. So expect that at your local game store you'll find more. You'll have to pay more for any of those cards. And we're not counting any of the commons or uncommons, foil, borderless, or anything like that, many of which are worth $1, $2, $5, maybe even $10. So even not counting the fourth pack from each of these, there's quite a bit more money in there. And if we do count the fourth pack, well, let's see how much a fourth pack would be. So this is the fourth pack for me, basically. And we're opening a Thought Scour, which is neat. Strands of Undeath. Advanced Stitchwing. Deep Analysis sees a little play. Settle Beyond Reality was good in draft, but probably not otherwise. Sprouting Thrynax we talked about. Summer Bloom. Okay, cool. Then I've got a Borderless Terminate non-foil. This is actually my second Borderless Terminate because I opened it in one of the drafts. Would love to have a foil one, but this is fine. Then we've got an Orzhov Basilica, which I was wanting a foil full art Orzhov Basilica, but this will do for now. I'll probably end up buying a single, of course, of the foil one in a little bit, but I'll put this in the deck for today, something like that. And then we go on to the foil borderless cards, which includes Spell Pierce, which this is a perfect example. Another card that the borderless foil is worth like $5, maybe more, and it's a common. So that adds some, real noticeable value. This is worth more than a draft booster pack of Streets of New Capenna. This one card. And we opened a bunch. And we got a foil Gruul Turf, which is cool. I play this in a lot of red-green decks. Then we go on to the rares, which starts off with a Leonin Arbiter, which I don't know how valuable Leonin Arbiter is. I know it used to see some modern play and like Death and Taxes. Modern fell off a little bit, but it might be coming back. I'm not totally sure. Yeah, I don't know Leonin Arbiter. It sees a little play in like Stax Commander decks, like CEDH kind of things, but I don't usually play that, so not my jam. Okay. Then we've got a Borderless Chaos Warp, which, okay, so that's our second Borderless Chaos Warp of the day, and unfortunately I pulled one of these in the draft the other day. So it was cool to see one for my roommate's collection because, she was a little jealous of me pulling one in the draft the other day because of how unique and cool it is. I already had one, though, so it's a lot less cool for me to get a second one of these when I do already have like 8 other normal Chaos Warps, but I guess I'm going Phil Foglio in every deck. So that's fine. Then we go into the Etched Foil, which is Sensei's Divining Top. That's a really big hit. That's one of the most valuable rares, and to get a Etched Foil here, it's never been available in Etched Foil before. So this could be significant value. I don't know how much. $50, I would guess, just as a guess. I really wanted the borderless version. I really wanted a foil borderless version. I'm seeing it. Yeah, $46. Okay. By the way, the Leonin Arbiter was about $3. So not super impressive. The Chaos Warp, once again, was like $9. But the Sensei's Divining Top, $45. Excellent, and I absolutely will play it in a deck. I'll probably put this in my CEDH deck. And I may end up actually buying a borderless foil one of it at some point. It's very expensive, but I love the Neon Dynasty Kamigawa style that the other Sensei's Top has. I already have 2 normal tops, but they're not foil. So we go into the last card, which could be the biggest one. Come on, I hope it's the biggest one of the whole thing, the whole shebang. Let's see. It is a Grim Flare, borderless foil, illustrated by Richard Kane Ferguson, which Richard Kane Ferguson art is awesome. This is one of my least favorite cards in the set. Certainly my least favorite Richard Kane Ferguson art in the set. So, this was really a letdown, honestly. Look, I've seen a lot of people out there opening a lot of packs online, and they're like, wow, amazing, mythic, great, and everything, and even they see Grimflare, they're like, that's cool, honestly, this is a letdown. I'm gonna be frank with you there, but hey, what's not a letdown is an Etched Foil Sensei's Divining Top. Now, you keep in mind what I had before, which was like, just shy of $200. You add another cool 50 onto it for this, and you've seen now 4 packs opened, and they're worth at least $250. So I think I easily made my money back. Actually, you include the Chaos Warp, and that's more like $260, $262, and so you add up just the rares and mythics, and I think I broke even. And then all the commons and uncommons and borderless, all those are gravy on top. So I think that's what you typically see in collector booster boxes. I think if you can get a collector booster box for under $300, which you can, then I think they're are usually worth it in the short term. And the long term, they're almost all going to be worth it. I'm telling you, these prices are at their lowest right now. This Chaos Warp is not going to be $9 next year.
Because they're not going to reprint it with the same art.
They're probably never going to reprint this with the same art. Ever. You know, I mean, this is probably not going to be in Double Masters 2024 or whatever. You know, and so this card is probably going to be worth $20 in a year. The Sensei's Top could easily go up. When are they going to reprint Sensei's Top? They're not going to want to reprint Sensei's Top. Yeah, this is probably going to turn into a $100 card in like a year. So I'm calling it right now. You know, I watched a bunch of videos from the Professor. I watched Rudy on Alpha Investments. I watched everybody that I could in preparation for the draft and in preparation for box openings like this. And the consensus that I've heard, looking at past Double Masters and products like this, is that cards are at their lowest right now. They will plateau or slowly climb over the next few months because around Christmas, a lot of people will buy Magic packs as gifts for people. And then after that, the supply dries up. And the demand never goes down for the rest of the history of the game, pretty much. Until they print Sensei's Divining Top 2, you know, the strictly better one that costs 0 mana or something, then they're going to rise forever. So that's my analysis. The draft booster packs, I didn't purchase any. Not that I don't think you should necessarily. I'm not really making a statement about that. I don't have a first-hand experience with it, of course. You know, not having opened one on camera or anything like that or done the math. But watching other people, it's a little harder to justify. You get more cards, but more of them are bulk. So if you have some commons or uncommons that you're looking for from this set, you want to play set a Monastery Swiftspears. You want to play set a Lightning Bolts because you're new to the game and you wait, Lightning Bolts in Baldur's Gate. Never mind, get that. You know, so the draft booster boxes, honestly, draft them. That's what I recommend. If you're considering getting one box or the other, get the draft booster boxes if you want to draft among your friends. Get some fun out of the opening experience. You know, get a group together of 8 people or go to a local game store or something like that. Draft it. And you're going to have an excellent time. But if you just want it as an investment, if you just want to open the shinies because you're an experienced Magic player and you already own a Damnation and you already own a Bloodbraid Elf and you already own, you know, Blood, you know, whatever. All of these cards, like I own most of these cards already, multiple of them in some cases. Now I've got versions that I've never had before, you'll never see again, and I'm going to put them in my decks and bling them out, and I'm going to be very happy. So that's my advice. But that is enough for today, I think. I'm going to go ahead and sign off, edit this together a little bit, upload it. And I do have another booster box opening coming up. I've ordered a collector booster box of Baldur's Gate, the Commander Legends 2. We're hoping to get some mythic dragons, you know, hoping to get some things like that. You know, very exciting stuff in there too. So stay tuned for that. It'll probably be coming later in this week. And other than that, I hope you have a great rest of your day.